The evolution that I've seen over the last few years, and I think we're even continuing to still evolve today, the last couple of years seems to have really been a shift, as you say, away from uniques and page views into quality, into the ideas of, is this human traffic, is it viewable space, is it a viewable impression, and all these metrics sort of around the idea of quality became much more important. We've heard it here at the IAB this week, that large brands, large buyers like a P&G are really beginning to demand that quality, that assurance of, am I receiving quality impressions versus just uniques? But what I think is really interesting, that I've seen a subtle shift in the last even couple of months, is we finally seem to be going a little bit beyond just the discussion of viewability and fraud, IVT, and getting back to, okay, now how does that combine with audience? And I'm hearing the buy side really begin to start to ask again, am I getting the audience I thought I was buying? Which is interesting, because I think the industry sort of moved away from the idea of worrying about what audience they were reaching, because we were so excited about viewability and fraud and eliminating waste, which is a good thing. I think we've probably made a lot of progress in beginning to eliminate some of the waste in the ecosystem. But now I'm seeing the attention turn back to, it's not enough to just know that I'm getting a quality impression. I want to know who's seeing that impression, right? So that's been an interesting shift, and certainly something that is right where we play in terms of helping the buy side and the sell side understand the audiences they're reaching.
And we've been covering a lot around audience targeting in television. That seems to be a big demand from the buy side.
Sure.
And of course,
definitely.
it's something that the broadcasters and publishers want to provide. And tell us where that stands in terms of either niche targeting, addressable targeting,
sure,
and the role that you guys are playing.
Well, it's really fascinating, I think, because we are seeing so many different desires for audiences, different ways of going about building a very traditional TV audience, right? And so in some cases, marketers are coming with their own data to the table. They're bringing their own first-party data to the table, and they're saying, how can I use this data to actually match with television viewing behavior and understand how to build a plan that maximizes the reach, not just against some demographic, but against people who I've already predefined as consumers I care about as a brand, right? And so that's really interesting to see that. We're seeing lots of platforms begin to emerge for the purposes of helping buyers and sellers build audiences and have data assets available in sort of a marketplace to transact off of a niche audience, if that's your desire, right? And so it's really, really been interesting how quickly, I think, there's the idea of addressable or programmatic TV, while maybe not quite scalable today, is certainly not stopping the same idea of using data to build a television-based audience in a new way, right? So I think that's where the growth and momentum has been, is in bringing various data sets to the table, but applying it not in just the digital world, applying it really in the linear television world.
And finally, Aaron, kind of putting on your former hat as a marketer at Kellogg and being on the client side, how do you see the ad tech ecosystem? We heard Mark Pritchard, and he kind of threw down the gauntlet, and in terms of the the purity of it, the value of it, so on.
Yeah, I think, clearly we're seeing it week after week, month after month. The consolidation continues, and I think it will continue to consolidate. I think when you look at some of the campaigns that are running today, where you may have 3, 4, 5, 6 tags on an ad to do various measures or activities against that ad, or to collect data, it's starting, marketers are realizing this is too much and this is a mess. And it's very interesting to hear a Mark Pritchard talk about it, because, by and large, the marketers themselves have stayed somewhat out of that that part of the ecosystem and allowed that to be managed for them. But now they're kind of stepping up and saying, how much of my working dollar is going against non-working activity, and can I be more efficient with that? Are there opportunities to clean this up, to make more efficiencies? So I think we're going to see a big move towards simplifying the execution of ad serving. How do we get ads in front of consumers? And I think we're really going to see the ecosystem begin to simplify because it has to, because the buyers are starting to take notice, the buyers are starting to demand it, and that, at the end of the day, ultimately drives progress, I think.